Suicide on film comes in many forms, but most often the diegesis offers us only implications, not direct images. Michael Haneke's 1989 debut film, The Seventh Continent, is different. Haneke demonstrates the destructive nature of dysfunctional society, a social climate of endless mechanical production, as embodied by the family's dysfunction, demonstrating a connection between pervasive social conditions and the modern family. Inspired by a real news story in Austria in the 1970s, the film follows a bourgeois family of three: the father George, the mother Anna, and the daughter Eva, over the course of 3 years leading up to their group suicide. Sociological studies of suicide came into academia through Emil Durkheim's 1879 study, Suicide, in which he outlines 4 differentiations of suicide. In this case, quote, egoistic suicide occurs when the bond between the individual and society is so weak, when the loss of cohesion is so great, that social ties cannot prevent a person from taking his or her own life. The family of the seventh continent appears to be doing well, yet internally are plagued by the alienation of modern social conditions. Haneke refers to the film as a part of his Glaciation trilogy, which includes Benny's Video from 1993 and 71 Fragments of a Chronology of Chance from 1994. Glaciation for Haneke is the slow and inevitable deterioration of the human condition, like an iceberg melting from global warming. The film's title refers to a non-existent place, a seventh continent, which is visually represented by a billboard advertising a holiday in Australia. Sparking their descent into destruction, the phantom of this non-existent place haunts the family. Haneke traps us with the stifling lives of the family through long takes of mundane moments, another formal challenge for the spectator. In this way, Haneke's style and content in the film can be seen as anti-capitalist. The film's repetitions, both identical and symbolic, are prevalent throughout the narrative's 3 arcs. These years prove to be monotonous, almost identically in the repetitive labor of everyday life being performed, the mechanization of the character's humanity. Haneke uses the combination of long takes and rapidly cut close-ups to emphasize the fragmentation and stasis, the second-hand, television-induced acceleration of our experience of the world, and the actual, first-hand aimlessness of contemporary lived reality. As for machines, they are cages or prisons of all kinds, and they are everywhere. The characters spend seemingly endless, useless hours silently reticent in car washes, supermarkets, and offices. The workplaces of Anna and George are joylessly cold and dominated by machines. He an engineer, she an optometrist. The car wash is the central theme. It is a cage within a cage. As the car moves slowly through the car wash in a totally mechanized system, irregardless of the humans inside, the family is confined in their steel box, sitting in total silence, as signs around them boldly proclaim, "Don't break." A major conceit of Michael Haneke's debut film is that humans are not machines. More specifically, when modernity forces us to become machine-like, we lose our humanity. In the loss of our humanity, we also lose our emotional connections to others, our experience of joy and pleasure, and our feeling of purpose or self-actualization. In totality, we lose our will to live. The film is a locus of social commentary, cinematic aesthetics, and nihilistic metaphor, all entangled into the framework of the bourgeois family. The daily repetitions of life, spread out and constant over the course of 3 years, are shown in fragments and close-ups, and for the first 30 minutes of the film, Haneke only shows us the characters' hands doing their daily actions. Haneke uses cinematic form to reinforce the alienation that the characters feel through the use of fragments and close-ups that literally cut up the scene, long takes which extend the endless feeling of waiting, and camera work that mimics TV commercials to emphasize the fakeness of life. As a mother, Anna is distant from her daughter Eva and demonstrates to her the emptiness of morality when she promises not to punish her daughter, but slaps her in the face nonetheless. Affection is expressed, particularly in the film's apocalyptic final half hour, but there is a sense that affection is residual, the remains of an eroded consciousness destroyed by the vagaries of postmodern existence. The fish tank is a prison for the fish, who are as living and breathing as the family is, until they are freed and flop around on the apartment floor amid the rubble of the family's systematically destroyed material life. Eva cries out and Anna consoles her, and even George says sorry. But they do not save the fish. The fish must die in order for the total destruction of the apartment to be complete, i.e., in order for the family to die as well. The fish are a reminder of how serious the situation is for them, that there is no turning back after death. Better to die on the floor than spend a lifetime in a watery prison. The moments of destruction of personal property are shown in fragmented close-ups similar to the opening scene. There is a spectacular awe that comes from seeing people destroy that which they own, which has now been deemed useless to them. As Durkheim established in his writings on egoistic suicide, the disconnect between the individual and their society logically results in their own self-destruction. The emotional glaciation is, at that point, complete, and is more clearly revealed to be an impossible dream because the complete removal of oneself from society is only available in death. Death and dreaming become the only escapes. A mythical paradise of an Australian beach or imagined seventh continent symbolizes an impossible freedom, a dream of escape. The only proof that their life is theirs at all stems from the freedom to choose not to live. Haneke has come under criticism over the years at various levels of both public media and academic scholarship. When asked to explain his films, he rejects the notion entirely. Quote, "It is the purpose of my films to pose certain questions, and it would be counterproductive if I were to answer all these questions myself." Haneke is one of the few filmmakers today who extend the modernist sensibilities of his predecessors, such as Antonioni, with purposeful cinematic choices that push the spectators into active viewing. To live in the real world, Haneke seems to posit, one must first obliterate the mechanisms that keep the individual encaged and docile.